We always want to introduce death really early on, and we always want to say that your characters are vulnerable here. So our kind of prologue characters are usually doomed. There's something special and magic about holding onto the controller and knowing that this character's life is literally in your hands now. When you break it down, we're all quite sick when it comes to this game.
We are going to do this. Just lower the gun.
Not until you move from the scanner.
Scan complete. Subject unidentifiable.
As we were saying a second ago, we were chatting last year, I think a few feet that way, when it was more of a hands-off, come and have a look at it as we kind of guide you through a piece. How does it feel to be back this year with, being able to get people hands-on with it?
It's been amazing. I mean, we are looking at, we've been showing people the whole of episode 1, so the whole of the beginning of the game, the kind of setup of the story, the introduction of the characters, the introduction of the threat. So for us, in the studio, obviously, we're really intimate with this, been working on it for a long time. And so it's just amazing to have people actually take hold of the controller and play it and get to know these characters. As you might have seen, there's some quite kind of gut-wrenching, sad bits in there. So it's been really, really good to kind of play on people's heartstrings a bit and see the responses there.
Oh, definitely. But I appreciate the turning point system that you've put in, which is one of the things that you were saying beforehand that you wanted to particularly highlight with this demo.
Absolutely.
I feel like that kind of builds on, you must be able to see data and live streams and things of this is how I think people often play your games anyway, is to go back to a save or remember later, next time I do this bit I want to go a different way.
Absolutely,
It feels like, how long have you wanted to kind of build in an official way of kind of, it's almost like a DVD chapter select kind of thing. Yeah,
no, for a while we've kind of, the sort of, one of the many goals of it is to make the game more sort of accessible for our fans to get to the content they want to get to as soon as possible. We kind of find that people play through the game once, and then previously they'd have to kind of start from the beginning or go to a sort of a chapter and then play from that point on. Now with the turning point system, you can get straight to the decision that you're wondering about, go right back to that exact moment or the branching QuickTime event that that created that, and just get right down to it in the moment. Also for our kind of fans that do want to live and die by their decisions and don't even want to be tempted by the option to do it, there's a survival mode which kind of turns it off completely until you get to the end of the game, so you can play through it on survival and then switch over to jump back and see your
that's kind of like play it the old school way. If you want to.
But the system itself though is just it's fantastic. It just gives you, it's almost like a sort of collector's aspect to it as well, because the whole decision tree is shown to you as individual kind of scenes or beats, and they fill in as you play through it. So there's a kind of sticker book aspect to it as well, of I want to unlock absolutely everything.
Oh, that's the kind of thing you could attach a trophy or an achievement to.
No, we definitely have achievements for playing through on survival mode, for unlocking a certain amount of turning points and so forth.
Definitely. As you said, we were playing through the first chapter, and this always happens. I start getting attached to the characters, and then things start happening, and I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't the character from the box art. Is there a way to get through that chapter with either of them kind of still around?
So it's almost like it's a very intentional sort of hallmark of the Dark Pictures, is that the character, we always want to introduce death really early on, and we always want to say that your characters are vulnerable here. So our kind of prologue characters are usually doomed. But we do try and put in, for the beginning of the game, we always try and make sure where possible that there's some success that you can gain from it. So in this case, if your playable character Carter is able to make it to the end, he can record a warning message which alerts the crew as to what happened to him. They can find that later, and it changes the story as you go on there.
Oh, cool. Because the big first use of that when the other character's floating off in space, it's like the perfect example of And then the fact that immediately you go, okay, now we've got this turning point system. Because it's exactly the kind of thing where, I wasn't paying enough attention. I missed the quick time event, and now I've ruined the game. It's like it's a nice feeling to be able to go back immediately.
Absolutely, like I say, we've always got a broad church of different types of players kind of get into our games, and some people are very much like the way supermassive games have to be played is that you live by your decisions, you roll on from that, and that's valid. But there are a whole load of players that we know disconnect after, if they feel that they've played for a long time, they're invested, their character dies, and they're like, I don't want to play anymore. So a great example of that is in House of Ashes, where my oldest friend played it, and afterwards I said, how'd you get it? And he went, I didn't finish it. And I was like, what do you mean you didn't finish it? He was like, Ashley Tisdale died. He was like, wasn't interested after that. I was like, it's my game. So yeah, so I think it's, like I say, we're trying to, with this game, make it as kind of accessible as possible to the way you want to play it.
Yeah. When it first starts kind of telling you this feature slightly before that as well, there's a choice to use the computer or not use the computer, and it kind of flashes up like this is a little turning point here. And at that second I thought, if I miss the button to turn it, can I still not turn it? But then later it shows that there's a whole menu, and
there's a whole bunch of it. So yeah, it's kind of, we always want you, when you make a decision, one of our kind of goals is, it's a rather sick goal, but our goal is, whenever you make a choice, you should feel a sense of loss. You should feel that did I make the right choice there? Was that right? Now you can quite quickly go back and see, this is what happened if I did that, and you'll see the branching that we put in. You'll see your choices really do matter in these games.
Awesome. And the other system you were showing off was the real-time threats. Tell us about that, and how much of a kind of evolution or change is it from what you've kind of been able to do before, action-wise?
It's a huge leap forward for the series. We kind of, for me, I always thought that in our previous games, you're kind of, when you enter what we call the kind of discovery sections or the exploration sections, they're the times when you feel in a way the most tense. But when you get to know the games, you're like, actually they're the times where you're almost the most safe. Like, it's during the kind of narrative cutscene moments that you're most at risk through a bad choice or a quick time event. Whereas there's almost an expectation that when you're walking around, you're in danger, something could be out there. So I really, really wanted to get that feeling of, I could turn a corner and see a monster, and that monster could see me, or it could hear me and hunt me down. It's a big improvement on how scary the game is. Like, there's something special and magic about holding onto the controller and knowing that this character's life is literally in your hands now. Throughout the game, you'll have a number of these different instances against a number of different types of threat. We're also aware that some players like our games for a sort of lean back, kind of slightly more relaxed way. So if they find this off-putting, there are a bunch of settings that you can tailor. You can almost have it a little bit like a ghost train, that it's there, it will hunt you down, it'll scare you, but it can't actually kill you. So there's different settings you can put onto it.
Right. It sounds like another quite sick wish. I don't want people to feel safe when they're walking around.
It is, yeah. We should. When you break it down, we're all quite sick when it comes to this game.
It's cool though, 'cause like you say, it makes it, you're that bit more immersed. It's not like I'm walking around looking for a piece of paper. I know nothing's going to happen for the next 10 minutes or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah. It's kind of we have this, when we make these games, we want it to be as cinematic as possible. So we're always kind of keeping pacing in mind. And so you might have a kind of a very sort of choreographed piece of cinema, and then you go into a section where you're walking around trying to find clues or unravel the story. And with this, it keeps the tension up because you still know that you could come across these things.
you recently kind of made the decision to push the release back a little bit. What kind of stands to be gained by giving yourself that extra time?
So we've kind of extensively user tested this game, and we've put it in front of the press a couple of times now, and we're getting really, really good feedback. Like it seems like we've got a really cool game here. That it's definitely the biggest Dark Pictures game of all. So we just want to ensure that quality is across the whole board. So we're not changing anything. We're not fixing any problem. We're just polishing. With a cinematic game, we can polish and polish and polish, making sure that the timing's just right between cuts and the eye lines are correct, and the animation's just hitting it just right. So there's just a lot of work that goes into lifting it right up to make it feel like the biggest one we've done.
Awesome. And just before we started, we were saying that graphically this one looks particularly noticeably impressive. How much extra work has gone into especially the character faces? You're stood there like, wow.
Yeah, I'm continually impressed with our team back in the office and what they've done with it. This one was built in Unreal Engine 5, so it's looking great. Our graphical boffins have spent ages making sure that it's got really cool reflections and path tracing and all sorts of neat bells and whistles. So it's looking beautiful. It's also interesting for us because it's a sci-fi game, and so we've had to make everything from scratch to make it fit this world. And so we've had really good production design. We can't just put a cell phone in it. It has to be a space cell phone, so that has to be designed in a way. So that's a lot of work. And again, I think, as you'll see from it, it's looking beautiful, and they've done a great job.
Nice. There's a random thought, but you kind of start the game on that kind of zero gravity shot, and she's playing the space game on her arm thing. Anytime there's zero gravity in the game, for some reason, in my head, I'm like, I wonder how they shot that. People floating around.
Exactly. So we've so our characters, we have gravity boots and gravity plates, which mean that they can walk around. So we're not completely in zero G, but if they take the boots off, they will float. We've done that in a variety of different ways. Some of it's done classically with wires, so we've got actors floating around in big sets. Others bits are hand animated. So.
I guess is a big benefit of coming to a show like this that you can look over people's shoulders and be like, oh, they've got slightly someone. I was using the scanner, and they're like, oh, you actually have to press the scanner again before you do that. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm noticing little things like that, and
we pick up little snags. Like I say, we're user testing it at the moment, and some of the features have gone in quite recently. We're still tuning those, it is still work in progress, and it's really, really useful to see people playing it. So I've made sure that myself or Dan are in there watching people play so that we can tweak and improve as we go.
Nice. And with all the advancements that have gone into this one, like you say, to make kind of the biggest Dark Pictures yet, do you kind of see it as a good kickoff for another phase of whatever the next few Dark Pictures will be? You've done a lot of good groundwork that will kind of hold you in good stead.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fun thing about the Dark Pictures is you never know what's next. That's the wonder of it, really. And we're always trying to kind of say we don't want to be locked down to this is the architecture that we will keep forever. Each different game will raise different possibilities for change, but the systems that we've built here are great, and there's a few, I would love to carry on, especially the real-time threats working out really well, the turning points. This feels like strong stuff which we can build on and improve and make better for the next game as well.
Yeah. Is there any part of you that wants to take things like the turning point system and go back and put it in your old games? Once you've had the idea and you've made it, you're like, oh, we could have done this before.
I would love to, but it's a business decision that comes with many problems.
Just press the button and then it goes in all of them.
If we could just wave the magic wand, brilliant.
No, it sounds really cool. I'm really looking forward to playing it. And
Cool.
Thank you so much for taking the time to
Yeah,
chat
thank
again.
you. Yeah, pleasure.
See you next time.
Cool. Yeah. See you in a few months. Whatever.